Hello everyone, good morning. How's everyone doing today? I hope I find everybody well, and I hope everyone is in a good mood and ready for some gaming goodness today, because we got some good stuff coming up on the streams. Hello everyone, welcome. Today, oh my god, I gotta burp. Today is Friday, the 19th of March, 2021. And I welcome you all to the stream, as I'm full of gas today. I don't know why. All I had was, I didn't even eat today. I just had a cup of coffee. I'm gassy. I don't know what's going on here. I could explode at any moment. It's just to forewarn all of you. For those of you who maybe have your headphones on, or, you might want to back away. You might want to be ready to adjust the volume at a moment's notice here. At any second, things could, I don't know. Things could blow. I actually used the bathroom before I started pre-stream today, which usually I don't do, but the coffee ran right through me. Woo! Yeah. Anyway, guys, welcome to the stream. What a great start. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Welcome to the weekend, because indeed it is the weekend now, and I hope that you guys are all ready for some gaming fun today. Let's talk a little bit about what you guys can expect today on the stream. And we'll talk a little bit about one gaming news story. Just a little bit. I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about it later tonight when I do fighting game stuff. So if you don't know what it's going to be, obviously now you probably do. Let's talk, shall we? Let's talk a little bit. So, what's going on? Well, today the streams should be fun. Hold on a second here. I'm just closing everything up so I don't get distracted and we can actually focus on pre-stream here. Okay, so, what are we doing today? I'll tell you what you're doing. What are we doing, man? We're streaming. It's going to be Divinity Original Sin 2 here on the first stream. And we're finally leaving Fort Joy. You know, the intro area. The thing is, the game has so much content that it took forever to leave, and the fights can take upwards of an hour each fight depending on what's going on. And it's been a very slow-paced game, but at the same time, I'm glad that I took my time in Fort Joy. You guys told me like 3 streams ago, don't rush to leave Fort Joy. Stick around, walk around, make sure that you loot everything so that before you leave you get all the significant items. And my god, did I find a ton of shit, right? Like last stream, if you guys remember, last stream, we killed a bunch of enemies and then ended up getting a ton of new spells for my casters. So now one of my casters, Lucy or whatever, has like a ridiculous amount of spells, which is great. To make her way better now. So I'm glad that I took my time. I'm glad that we, as slow-paced as it was, I'm thinking it's like, I'm not even kidding, like 20 to 22 hours of gameplay just in the intro section. But today it's official. Today, we finally get to leave Fort Joy and walk out into the marshlands and see what's out there. It's like a swamp or a marshland or something. And we're going to, see what we come across. Some random fights, some looting, more plot. Who knows? All right, today it's a whole new world, finally. So it should be pretty exciting. And everyone was telling me this about the game. They were like, Divinity 2 is an outstanding game once you get out of the intro. The intro is very slow-moving, and a lot of people complain about getting through the intro. But once you get to the point where your party has really good abilities and you're leveling them up and everything, it ends up being much better. Okay? Good. That's good. So, by the way, some people are like, he's still less than halfway through the game. No kidding. This is just the intro. From what I'm to understand, this is what someone told me. They said, the intro segment is meant to be around 20 hours. Then there's a mid-game segment. That's meant to be 50 hours. And then there's the third and final end-game segment, and that's meant to be around 12 to 15 hours. So an average playthrough of Divinity 2 is probably around 80 to 90 hours. Now, if you're a newbie like me, and you never played a game like this before, no Baldur's Gate, no Dungeons and Dragons, didn't play the previous Divinity, you're talking, this could be upwards of 100 plus hours. Woo! That's a lot of hours. And we're only 20 hours in. So I would estimate maybe we're 1/5 into the game. Like I told you guys when we started this one, I knew this was going to be an incredibly lengthy playthrough. All right? And it's certainly not, it's not failing to deliver on that front so far. So let's see what happens today as we head out of Fort Joy. I'm actually excited to see what we run into. Hopefully all new stuff, and it's not just the same stuff anymore, you know? Good variety of stuff. Okay. So, good stuff, right? Later tonight, it's my weekly Throwback Street Fighter session at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Alright? Street Fighter. Good stuff. Now, later tonight, it depends on how things go. Alright? But I may go a little bit late on the stream or not. It all depends. Because today, out of the blue, my wife has to work nights. And you may be saying, huh? Why? I know. She switched shifts. She switched shifts to work morning. She's been working morning for 2 straight weeks. And all of a sudden, they got to work in a night shift. For what I don't understand, basically, it's just a one-time thing. I don't know the workings behind it, but apparently it was a one-time thing where they needed to go back to the night shift for one day. Maybe it's coverage or something. I don't know. But her schedule's supposed to be getting set in stone as a morning schedule. So that being said, she's actually awake now, and she's preparing. You know, she's doing stuff around the house to start getting prepared for work. And so Kat is busy, but Jasper will be out there with her. Because since she's home, I can't have the door open today. If I have the door open on the office, all you hear is my booming voice to the whole house, and it will be incredibly annoying and distracting. So that being said, no Jasper today on the stream, okay? And I know you guys are going to be sad, because Jasper could come in here whenever he wants, usually during the daytime streams now, and he's been a part of the streams. I interact with him, I play with him. You know, you guys have seen it. And I yell at him when he goes in front of the TV, which is funny. But can't be here today because of that. Alright? However, tonight on the Street Fighter stream, he will be welcome to join us. Okay? And I may go later. We'll see what happens. Because, you know, you guys, you know, I love playing Street Fighter. You know, the once a week session Friday nights, I really, really enjoy it. But there's a lot of issues with it. The collection sucks, and half the time the collection doesn't work. You know, trying to get a match, error. Stupid fucking game. And then on top of that, you got trolls that come in and try to ruin it for everyone. So tonight when I play Street Fighter, if things go smoothly, and if everything is going well, and, you know, everyone's having a good time, and the matches are rolling, we're in a lobby with good players, and everything's happening, you know, and I might go late. Okay? Or I might just only do the, you know, do my normal session of only 2 hours. Because if obviously everything's falling apart and not working, then obviously I'm not going to waste time on it. You know what I'm saying? Sucks that that's the case. I really hope it works, but I can't make it work. You know? It's really hit or miss when I play Street Fighter. So we'll see what happens tonight. Tomorrow, it's the return of Call of Duty to the early stream for a major stream, and the good news here is, number one, I've unlocked a really good scope for the Farah 83 rifle. After like 2 to 3 sessions of me suffering with this gun with terrible attachments, I can finally see the enemies and shoot them. So it was funny because I unlocked this about halfway through the last stream that I did, and all of a sudden I'm starting getting crazy kill streaks and everything, and everyone's like, wow, Phil's doing good again. I'm like, yeah, because I got the fucking scope. I can shoot people now. Finally. It took so many streams to do it, but I got it. But in addition, I'll be unlocking the remaining attachments for the gun. So the gun should now be as good as the Krieg 6 was. And that's going to allow me to probably do very well, especially when I get that thermal. Oh my god, that thermal scope is crazy good. And then we'll go from there. You know, some people have suggested maybe I do something new as my secondary weapon instead of the machete and stuff. We'll see what I'm going to do, okay? So, should be fun, should be interesting, and I like playing Call of Duty, as you know. This year's been one of the best years for Call of Duty for me. I really enjoy the game. More of that tomorrow on the main stream. Tomorrow night, Super Mario 3D World's finale, and I mean it. This is the final time I'm playing the damn game. It's going to be Champions Road. I have to finish it. I'm using Peach exclusively. I'm hopefully going to beat it in the 2-hour stream that I'm doing tomorrow night. If not, I give up. Seriously. And that would be kind of defeating for me, because I've done some really tough stuff, and usually when I commit myself to playing something that's incredibly difficult, I can usually beat it. I mean, I beat Sekiro, you know what I mean? I beat tough stuff. Why I can't beat Champions Road, I don't know. Okay? I guess we'll see tomorrow night if I can do it. I hope I can do it. Then on Sunday, it's the continuation of Danganronpa V3. Yes, after playing it earlier this week, but being interrupted and not being able to have a full stream of it, we're now going to have a full 3+ hours of progress in it. So I hope you'll come join me for that. Okay? Good stuff? All right. Sunday night, it's going to be more Genshin Impact. Yeah, that's right. Genshin Impact, which I played last night. And I basically got myself kind of readjusted to the world. I haven't played the game since like 3-4 months. And it looks really nice on PlayStation 5, by the way. If you didn't see the videos yet, it's a smooth 60 frames per second on PS5, which is very nice. I would consider it equivalent to the improvements that Assassin's Creed Valhalla had. It was running at like sub 30 frames on PS4 Pro. And then when I played it on PS5, running at silky smooth 60 frames made the playthrough way better. So I actually was like, whoa, it looked so different. But the thing is, sadly, I really didn't know what the hell I was doing because I haven't played it in months. So I was kind of flubbing around for most of the stream, but people kind of got me on the right course. And when I play it again on Sunday night, I think I'll be more progress and have more ideas of what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay? Monday, it is the continuation of Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. We are now in a new stage, which is a fun one. I'm liking it, but it's very challenging, but I'm actually liking the stage. I kind of got already to the next half, trying to get to the first checkpoint of the stage. I know we haven't played it in a while, and I mean, freaking Monday's the first time this week I'm playing it, but as you guys know, this week is very packed, and I tried out Monster Hunter yesterday, which was kind of a one-off random stream, so it's things that are taking up time, you know. But there will be more on Monday, and then Monday night, it is the premiere of Fall Guys Season 4. Yes, Fall Guys has a new season with brand new stages, new themes. It should be very interesting to play it on release day, so I hope you'll join me for that. Now, on Tuesday, I may or may not be streaming. I don't know yet because my wife doesn't have her full work schedule. She's supposed to get it today. So hopefully she gets it today and then I'll know. I'm hoping that it's the same schedule and we'll have Wednesday off again. Excuse me. If that's the case, then probably on Tuesday it'll be more Divinity or it could be more Danganronpa. Whatever you guys want to see more of. I would debate, you know, what do I want to play as the mainstream on Wednesday, or Tuesday, excuse me. So we'll see. And then Tuesday night probably will be Call of Duty to end the streaming week. Okay? So there you go. That is the rough schedule for the rest of the weekend. Now, one thing, yesterday on pre-stream, I announced that I'm probably going to be changing the schedule moving forward and making it so that the streams start later, but I don't run a half an hour of music. All right? What I'm thinking of doing is starting the stream around 10:45, only playing about 10-15 minutes of music, and then having the pre-stream start and run it for about an hour, and then we start with gameplay, and then the gameplay would be 3 hours of gameplay with a break in between. So, we talked about this yesterday. People seem to like the idea. They were like, yeah, less music, and it gives you a little bit more time in the morning to do whatever you need to do. Why not? And then I totally forgot about it. I didn't update the schedule. I didn't talk about it last night in the audio schedule. I completely forgot about it. And this morning I wake up and I'm like, okay, wait, when am I starting the stream? Oh shit, I didn't make the formal changes, so it would be pretty dishonest of me to now start the stream later, right? I completely screwed it up. You know, not to say that I'm getting old and I'm getting forgetful, but I'm getting old and I'm getting forgetful, and I totally forgot. Okay, so I'm thinking in the next couple of days I will make this change, and I will officially let you know when that's going to happen. All right, so what's going to be is the stream will not start at 10:15 a.m. The stream will turn on around 10:45 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. The music will only run for 10-15 minutes, a very short amount of time for people to get to stream. Then we'll start with the pre-stream around 11 a.m., and it'll only run roughly about an hour. Now, some days it's going to go longer if you guys have a ton of questions, but my goal will be to get through what I need to talk about quickly. No, I'm not going to be doing giant segments of news and stuff unless time permits. Instead, we'll just try to get to business and get to the gameplay, all right? It kind of sucks, admittedly, because I like talking about the news and stuff, but your feedback has been, don't do it. Your feedback has been, pre-stream's already too long, cut the news segment out, talk about the schedule if you need to, and, you know, any, quick plugs, and give us shout-outs, obviously, for our contributions, but then get to the gameplay. So, I'm not going to be doing giant news-based segments anymore, all right? But I will give shout-outs for those of you who ask. So, if you do, cheer, sub, or tip, and you ask about something, a news story, then I will comment on it. All right? Fair enough. My goal is to finish the pre-stream by noon, take a brief break, and then have the gameplay start around noon, like 12:15. And like I said, 2 hours of gameplay, then take a break again, and then come back and have another hour to hour and a half of gameplay. That's what I'm going for, okay? Sound good? Now, hold on. I'm about to sneeze. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to blow my nose very quickly. I'll be right back. Sorry, I don't want to sneeze here. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, this is the time of year. Here's what's going on with my nose. It's bothering me a lot, and here's why. It's still cold enough at night. It's not fully spring here yet. It's supposed to be spring starting in a couple of days. But at night, it still gets very cold, okay? When it gets cold at night, the heat goes on all night. So my nose gets all dried out at night. Then in the morning, it's like, oh, rise and shine. It's warm now. The sun is out. I open all the windows, but now there's pollen outside because of spring. So it hits my nose. I'm like, oh, my God. Now my nose is itching. It's making me sneeze. I get that post-nasal drip going on. I'm like, ugh. So this is the time of year that, number one, I end up having a lot of issues with my sinuses, and sometimes I even get nosebleeds, right? But number two, I get this, like, dryness in the inside of my nose, and it's very annoying. So I apologize in advance for nose issues today. I may have nose issues. Once it warms up a bit more, and I don't need to have I almost said air conditioning, the heat running at night, all night, it shouldn't be as big of an issue. It'll still be an issue, like I'll still be sneezing, but I won't have the dried out nose and sinuses, and I wake up. You know, that's the problem. And then God forbid I sneeze, I might get a nosebleed. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to run and grab a tissue as my nose is gushing blood everywhere. I hate this. It always happens this time of year. The good news is, though, and I have definitely noticed this over the last year, okay? COVID and everything going on, masking up and being safe and sanitary, I have not actually gotten sick in the last year. I mean, I had ear infections, but I haven't gotten a cold or the sniffles or anything in the last year. That's fucking crazy good, because I usually get it around this time of year, and because of the allergies and the things going on, it usually compounds it. And you guys remember, sometimes I lose my voice. Remember that? That I sometimes have a hoarse voice for like 2 months because it gets so bad, and that hasn't happened at all this year. So that's a great thing. Very good. So, sorry about that. My sinuses are annoying me. Okay, so I give you the schedule. You guys know what to expect now. I told you about that. Possibly I'll be changing the stream starting time soon. It may be tomorrow. I don't know. I'll let you know. I have to determine when exactly I want to do this. Oh, sub goal. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday we hit the subscriber goal, which is outstanding. We hit 725 subs, and that means, yes, I will be, doing a fun marathon called the Challenge Run Marathon. Likely this is going to be in early April. I'm even debating doing it during the first week of April when it's my birthday festivities. All right? We'll talk about that in a second. What's it going to be? Well, we're going to be playing a variety of classic games. My idea is classic Mario, but some people came up with other ideas like playing Zelda Link to the Past. And what it's going to be is I play these games and we have challenges set out. For example, beat the first 2 stages without losing a life. Get through World 1-3 within 90 seconds. Okay? Challenges like this. And we'll be creating these on the fly during the marathon. And whether I do them or not, number one, obviously, it'll be fun. It'll be suspenseful, test of my skill. But in addition to that, it'll allow you guys to wager your channel points or Penne points in Penne points predictions. And there's going to be a lot of Penne points changing hands that day. Okay? And by the way, I hope I don't screw up the payouts. Alright? Thank goodness. Oh, you know, I've been getting a little bit better with this recently, if you noticed. I'm not making the same mistakes I was making being all flipped. I'm getting better at the payouts for the Penne points, okay? So, how is that any different from any other stream? I'll tell you how it's different. Number one, I'll be playing classic stuff that normally I wouldn't play. And that's cool, to be playing new stuff, classic stuff, instead of always doing a new playthrough or a serious playthrough. Because it's not going to be a serious playthrough. It's going to be based 100% on challenge run. Meaning, that's the other thing. I've never done this before. I've never actually done an event where I'm trying to obtain a certain kind of challenge of a skill or something like that. It's always, Phil's just playing the game just to play it and beat it, right? It's never been play it with a certain set of criteria in mind or a certain set of challenging steps in mind. And that's what I want to do. So I'll likely, unless everyone disagrees, I'm thinking it's going to be Super Mario Brothers 1 and 2. And when I say 2, I mean the Lost Levels. We'll do it on the Switch because the Switch has those games on there, right? Already. As long as you're a subscriber to the Nintendo Online service, which I am. And it could be good. Now, here's the thing. Maybe we'll do other stuff too. Because the thing is, people are like, what about Metroid? What about Zelda? We could do that. But the thing is, I know a lot more about Mario than I do about those games. So, for example, if we did Metroid, I'm down for that. I like Metroid. But I don't know that much about the game. You guys would have to, like, create the criteria. You see, you'd have to say, oh, Phil could get this in a certain amount of time, or do this without dying. You see what I'm saying? And yes, by the way, Pray for Rock says, a warpless run for Mario 1-3. I would not do warps at all. If we were playing Mario, it would have to be play every stage. It wouldn't be skip a stage and use a warp zone. I wouldn't do that. It would be legit beat every stage the long way. Okay? See? So, that's the deal. Very different. So, oh, see, Pray for Rock's and Mega Man. I agree there. Mega Man would also be a good one. Playing the classic Mega Man games. Of course, I'd have to find a method to do that because I don't know where they'd be available. So, now that we've hit the sub goal, now we can talk about this. What would you guys like to see? Would you like Mario? Would you like a Zelda? Would you like Metroid? Would you like Mega Man? I think all those games fit the criteria well. Okay? So let's see. Let's see how it goes and give me ideas, all right, on what you think you'd like to see. Okay? And we'll talk about this over the next week or two. And then likely, what I will do is... likely what I will do is figure it out for early April, in 2 weeks. I'll maybe set up this special stream for one of the days during that first week of April when I'm already got special, decorations and things for my my birthday. Okay? Sound good? Okay. Hold on one second. I'm unbanning someone. I just unbanned someone. I gave them some mercy. I feel that they've learned their lesson and they've expressed remorse enough they could be unbanned. There you go. Okay. So, let's talk about it. Every day, please guys, let's talk. Give me your opinions. Would you like to see classic Mario, which would be Super Mario Brothers 1 and then the Lost Levels? Would you like to maybe see Zelda Link to the Past? Would you like to see Metroid? Would you like to see the classic Mega Man games in these challenges? Whatever you think would be cool, we could do. All right? All right? Sound good? All right. Cool. Now, you may notice there's a tier 2 subscriber goal. That is correct. The tier 2 subscriber goal is, if we hit 775 subs, I'll be doing a special edition of DSP Tries It during that marathon event, and it's going to be a new food item. Apparently, there's been a ton of new food items recently. There's a new chicken sandwich at McDonald's. There's like 1 or 2 new food items at Wendy's, and apparently, there's actually a cool new place opening up right here next to me that I don't want to kind of spoil yet, but it's brand new. And I never heard of it until they're moving here. I'm like, oh, this could be interesting. So there's a good amount of stuff I could try on a new DSP Tries It, okay? But we got to hit the subscriber goal, all right? So if we hit the subscriber goal of 775 subs this month, and by the way, we still got about a week and a half to do so, we'll do a special edition of DSP Tries It during the marathon event, which would be pretty neat, okay? What do you get for benefit? What benefits do you get for subbing? over 40 emotes unlocked on my channel that you can use anywhere on Twitch. You also get the benefit of having a cool chat crown badge to show how long you've been a supporter. And of course, you don't have to watch advertisements when I roll ad breaks. Fair enough? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. If you choose sub or tip today, I'll give you a shout out. I appreciate your support. I do. You're the reason why I still get to do what I love for a living, because I'm 100% reliant on crowdfunding. I don't get sponsorships. I don't have an exclusive partnership with a company to stream and get paid just for turning on my stream. You guys like what I do. You guys crowdfund and support it. That's how it works. I'm incredibly grateful for those of you who go above and beyond and contribute to my streams. Not that it's mandatory or expected, but you guys support me in a big way, and I really appreciate that. Okay? We do have reward goals in effect. If I raise $50 in tips today, I'll put on the Gunner glasses. If I raise $100 in tips, I'll put on a vest of your choice. All vests are eligible today. Last night, we actually hit the tips goal last minute. I tossed on a red vest, but I was like, that won't count. It was like a minute. So today, all vests will be eligible. Okay? Now, so quick recommendations to help you guys out. If you're going to be a regular on the stream, okay? If you're going to be a regular on the stream, I recommend a few things to protect your identity so that, basically, you don't get harassed, okay? I don't want you getting harassed. Sound good? So here's the deal. Number one, make sure that your Twitch name is not the same as names you use on other social media accounts or all over the internet. Diversify your Twitch name from other stuff. That way, if someone has a bug up their butt about you, they can't go to your other sites and harass you. In addition, close your PMs or DMs or whatever you want to call them, okay? Why? Because if you have them open, you are just leaving yourself right out there for people to just harass you constantly on a stream. I've had my DMs closed on Twitch for a very long time. I have it set up that only people on my friends list can DM me. I recommend you do the same thing, okay? So just looking out for you guys. Now, if you're thinking of tipping me today, I recommend you make a verified PayPal account. If you do so, that means that your real life information is linked to it. That means you're a real person. You've confirmed your identity. That helps me out because when it is a confirmed account, it allows me to know that you're real. And I know you're not trying to scam me with a fake tip or a fake credit card, and it makes the streams way more smoothly, okay? I also recommend if you're a regular and you're going to be tipping on a regular basis, think up a name or a code word that you'd like to use during your messages that you send me with your tips, and then I know it's you when you tip me, and I don't have to verify that your tip is legit at all because I already know it is because I already previously have done so, all right? So there you go. But if you can't tell, I'm trying to turbo through all this, all right? I'm trying to go really quickly through it so we can get to a quick news story I want to talk about, and then I want to do shout-outs, all right? Okay. The one news story I want to talk about is this EVO news story, okay? EVO has been bought out by Sony. EVO is no longer an independent business venture at all. They are now owned by a major conglomerate corporation, okay? And I have some feelings about this that I want to actually go into a little bit today on the pre-stream because, as you guys know, I used to be a competitive fighting game player. I used to attend EVO, all right? Now, here's the thing. I've told you guys many times over the years my true feelings about EVO and the people who run it. They're not very positive. The people who run EVO, the Cannon brothers, have been pretty dishonest over the years. Before they ever ran EVO, they ran a tournament called B5 in California. At that tournament, everything was rigged. They literally were actually rotating players around on cabinets. Back then, it was all arcade cabinets. They were rotating players around on arcade cabinets so that people who weren't from the West Coast, who, you know, their buddies, had to play on broken or cabinets that were not running as well as the good cabinets. There were 2 cabinets that were running better than all the other ones at the tournament, and they made sure that all their buddies got to play on the good cabinets, basically allowing them to progress in the tournaments, okay? This is not the first time that they scammed and or rigged their tournaments, okay? And this is not slander. This is confirmed stuff. Of course, it's 20 years old, but this is why I don't like these guys, okay? Previous to that, you may have heard of a documentary called Bang the Machine from the 90s. This documentary outlined a bunch of West Coast players who played at Sunnyvale Golfland, a particular arcade, and it kind of highlighted them and gave profiles like biographies, but also showed their culture of how they used to play in arcades and stuff. But this documentary highlighted the way to get to Japan for a special tournament, okay? There was a tournament held on the West Coast at the time where if you qualified by winning a certain amount of tournaments and games, you accumulate a certain amount of points, and then basically you qualify to play in a special challenge event in Japan against the best Japanese players, okay? So what did they do? They rigged the tournament so that basically the West Coast players would throw matches to each other so that they would accumulate all of the points, and the East Coast players couldn't get enough to qualify. Eddie Lee, an infamously very high-level player on the East Coast, basically cried at this event because he spent a ton of time and money to go to it to qualify. He should have, and then was basically told you're not going to qualify because they rigged it. All right, this is all infamous. This is all well-documented stuff in the fighting game community, but it's 20 years old, so no one talks about this shit anymore, okay? So these guys who ran these multiple tournaments that had lots of unscrupulous stuff going on during these tournaments then used all their money, which had nothing to do from fighting games. It was because one of the Cannon brothers actually was a programmer, and he sold some code that was very profitable for him. He used this money to finance the EVO tournament series, okay? And he created EVO. Now, a lot of people didn't like the fact that the Cannon brothers were the people in charge of EVO because they didn't trust them. They didn't want these guys from the West Coast who had basically rigged tournaments before to kind of be in charge of the nationals, but there was nothing anyone could do about it. They were the only ones who had the money to do it. There were a lot of other tournament organizers around the early 2000s, but they didn't have the money to do anything but small grassroots efforts. The Cannon brothers had the financing from their personal finances to be able to ship cabinets for a tournament and do all this stuff. They had the money and resources that other people didn't have. So at that point, the Cannon brothers made themselves an institution in the competitive fighting game community, and as they started EVO, it basically became the nationals of Street Fighter. Even though a lot of people didn't like them and didn't want that to happen, they really had no choice. It was either go to the biggest tournament or ignore it and then be left out of what's considered the biggest event because they have the money to finance it. Okay? So this is all old school water under the bridge shit. But the reason that EVO fell apart last year after so many years of success is twofold. First of all, COVID happened. And when COVID happens and you can't have in-person gameplay and everything's going to go digital, yeah, right. Like everyone has a great internet connection? Absolutely not. And fighting games in particular are sadly, one of the franchises of video games, all right, where you cannot really play them competitively online. Even though they have online tournaments, everyone kind of scoffs or laughs at it because everyone knows there's added lag, there's input drops. It's not the same experience as playing in person. All right. Other games, such as first-person shooters and the like, seem to be fine when it comes to playing online. People are adjusted to it or used to it. But as for fighting games, not so much. Okay. So EVO already was going to be destroyed last year because COVID said, hey, guess what? No in-person tournament, and they were going to have to go all online. But then the scandal with Mr. Wizard broke. For those who don't know, Mr. Wizard was the CEO of EVO. Did he actually own EVO? No. He was buddies with the Cannon brothers. As in, like, lifelong friends. They grew up together in Sunnyvale, going to that arcade. Now, Mr. Wizard was never a good high-level Street Fighter player, ever. Not once did he place in a tournament, in a major tournament in a great way or anything. But he was just part of this kind of inclusive boys club. This top, 12 to 20 players at Sunnyvale Golfland who were known for being involved with Street Fighter. And he actually, basically was involved with every tournament that the Cannon brothers ever ran. He was involved in EVO East, the tournaments that I was winning on the East Coast. Joey Queller / Mr. Wizard was involved in running. Okay, so the thing is, I'll be honest with you guys. Joey Queller sometimes could be a dick, but at the same time, if you were nice to him, he was pretty nice to you. All right, that's how I knew him. But there were always these rumors behind the scenes that the guy had done pretty unscrupulous things in his past. We always knew that he was gay, and I didn't have a problem with that. Who gives a shit about that? Right? I don't care about anyone's sexual orientation. But there were always these rumors that this guy had done weird and disgusting things back in his days at Sunnyvale Golfland. We always heard that he was like weird things. We heard a story about he threw some kid in a pool or something in his underwear. And we're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Now, of course, if you're a fighting game player, I just want to fucking play games, dude. I don't want to be involved with this fucking disgusting drama, and who knows what the fuck these people are talking about. I just want to play games. I don't care about this stuff. But these rumors always circled around, the background of the tournament scene. But there was never any substantiation to any of the rumors. So no one knew if it was true or not, or you just heard the rumor. And yeah, like everything. You hear it, okay, fuck it. You make a judgment about the guy, I guess, behind the scenes if you want. The thing is, if you're going to be playing in the Nationals, you have to deal with the guy. The guy is literally put in charge of EVO by the Cannon brothers. So you have to deal with this guy no matter what. So I didn't, even though I heard all these stories and shit about him, I was like, whatever, I don't care. I'm not going to judge someone based off of a fucking rumor or story that I heard. Sometimes this guy's a dick to me, but if I'm not basically being a dick to him, sometimes he's fair. So it is what it is, right? So I don't really care, okay? Well, it finally came out last year that, yeah, all the stories were true. We had someone who actually came out who said, yeah, in my youth, basically Joey was doing really fucked up sexual abuse kind of stuff to me. And at the time I was so young, I didn't realize what it was that he was doing. But now I look back and I'm saying, damn, that's some really fucked up, emotionally fucked up stuff that he did, you know? And I can't believe that all these years he's been put in charge of all these events and everything with kids going to them when he did that to me when I was a kid. All right? So, when all this happened last year, okay? When all this happened last year, okay? It all came out, and of course, that was it. Now, today in 2020, 2021, we got the whole cancel culture. If people had talked about this previously, the last 10 years ago, 15 years ago, people would have probably said, oh, well, there's nothing we could do. These guys run EVO anyway, so you got to put up with it. But now, with cancel culture and the Speak Out movement, the Me Too movement, it came to a head, and when this information finally hit the public, knowledge, that was it. Wizard got canceled, and so did EVO, because no one wanted anything to do with a tournament where the guy who essentially was in charge of running it did this pedophilic actions back in the 1990s and early 2000s, or whatever the actual date was, okay? So EVO got canceled last year, and everyone said, gee, I wonder what's going to happen. Now, one of the Cannon brothers, I forget which one, because I always forget which one is the one who finances it financially, came out and said, oh, we've removed Mr. Wizard from all of his responsibilities, and we're going to figure this out for ourselves, don't worry. And I came out last year, and I was very honest with all of you guys, okay? And I said, I don't feel that EVO can move forward anymore the way that it is. Here's why. Those Cannon brothers, all right? These Cannon brothers were friends with Joey the entire time. They knew the rumors, and likely they were there when he was doing this stuff. They probably saw him throw a fucking kid into a pool wearing his underwear and thought, oh, this is like college hazing. Oh, it's so funny. Well, back then, it was a different era. I told you guys all about the whole arcade era was different in the 90s. People did shit like this all the time. I told you a guy turned me upside down and acted like he was going to pile drive me on the arcade floor after I beat him. He was joking, but this kind of shit regularly happened all the time in arcade culture. It was like a locker room mentality, a boys club, people fucking with each other, talking shit, and doing these pranks and things, okay? This is normal. This was normalized back then. Today, someone touches you, you call the police. Back then, it was kind of a joke. All right? So likely, they had normalized that behavior at Sunnyvale Golf Land and thought, oh, this is just funny stuff that Joey's doing. When in reality, it was really fucked up stuff he shouldn't have been doing at all. But we know that today because culture has changed. You see? So anyway, my mentality was, EVO cannot continue on the way that it is because the people who own it, the Cannon brothers, were friends with Joey, made him the head of EVO, but knew about all this stuff. They knew he was a fucked up guy. They knew he had done fucked up stuff back then. Why would they put him in charge? Here's the other thing, too, and I have to call this out. Mr. Wizard was never a top-level tournament player. He was just someone who was put into positions of power by his buddies who had the money to run everything. He was never anyone who earned the power he was given. He was just, well, he's our friend, so just give him all the power and they want. I think he was getting paid. Someone told me yesterday, I think he was getting paid like $80,000 a year to run EVO. It's like, dude, this guy doesn't even play the games. And here he is running the major tournament, right? It's just like, what the fuck? Okay? So, it's just the thing is, this guy just always got given everything for nothing. He never earned any of it. He was just the buddies of the people who were rich and could run EVO. So, it is what it is, and now it all blew up on them. So I said, listen, I don't feel EVO can go forward running the way it is. Number one, I never trusted the Cannons to begin with because they always kind of had shady behind-the-scenes dealings back in the day from my experience. But in addition to that, they knew everything going on. They knew about Joey Queller's past. They just didn't care. He was their buddy. So they just gave him the world and allowed him to roll making big money running a fucking national tournament. And they didn't give two fucks about how the guy actually was behind the scenes. Okay? So, that's what I mean. Like, it's a corrupt system. How would you trust them again? Now that you know that this has been going on, for 20 plus years, this guy's been in charge. How could you trust them? Right? And I said, you can't. I don't know how EVO would go on. Guess what? It's not. They sold EVO. And that's the big news story. EVO has been sold to Sony. Sony essentially bought everything. They bought the rights to EVO, the logos, the resources, and the Cannons will not be running it anymore. The Cannons will be advisors, meaning they'll probably be paid very little amount of money to tell Sony the ins and outs of how to do what to do, but Sony's going to have ultimate decision of who's actually running what and all of that. Okay? Now, a couple big things that this could lead to. Okay? One of the big things is all the games could now be on Sony consoles, and if that's the case, that might mean Smash Brothers is out. Even though Smash Brothers has been a staple of EVO for over a decade. That might be the end of it, right? That might be the end of it. All right? How Rock, what the fuck are you talking about? I hope you're not talking about me. I hope you're talking about the Cannons and not me. Seriously. How Rock says, oh, but you suspected something was going on. You didn't say anything? Like, that's, wait a minute. What? I don't fucking run EVO, stupid. How would I do anything? I have no evidence of anything. I don't live in California. I didn't know anyone at Sunnyvale Golfland. What the fuck was I going to say, stupid? I mean, seriously, I hope you're talking about the Cannon brothers and not me. If you're talking about me, you're a moron. Holy shit, that's the dumbest thing you could have said. How would I have done anything? I was the guy they didn't like. I was the guy from the East Coast who was outspoken, who always criticized them, who always called them out for rigging the tournaments. That's why they hated my guts. How was I going to get anything done? Holy shit, that was a dumb statement. I really hope you didn't mean me. Okay, anyway. Continuing on with what I was saying. Number one, it might be that EVO is only on Sony consoles from now on. If that's the case, only games that are on Sony consoles can be played. And by the way, a lot of people don't necessarily like some of the versions on Sony consoles. That would eliminate games like Killer Instinct from the running, which by the way, was going to be at EVO last year. That would eliminate games like Smash Brothers, right? It would just be mainstream fighting games that are on a Sony console, okay? We also don't know, does this mean now that EVO is going to change completely? Is it going to be held in an arena, like a giant esports tournament, rather than in some ballroom at a fucking hotel in Vegas? Does it mean that the criteria to qualify for EVO will change because it was always just, you could just go to EVO. You just pay money for the entry fee, you go to EVO. Or is it going to be, you have to enter tons of qualifying events, and you have to accumulate a certain amount of points to participate? You know, this could change the entire thing. And for me, this is bittersweet, and here's why. I like competitive fighting games. I certainly don't like a lot of the modern ones, but to this day, I still play them, I still enjoy them, and I still enjoy the fact that they are getting attention and that people take them seriously because I grew up playing them. Okay, I'm not part of that community, but I like the fact to know that at least there's some success there, and there's people who are enjoying fighting games the same way that I did way back in the day. Okay? So, that all being said, alright? That all being said, this is the end of grassroots Street Fighter, when you really think about it. The Street Fighter community has always been a grassroots movement. Even the years when things like EVO and other tournaments were getting big sponsorship from Mad Cats before they went out of business, from other tournament joystick things, other companies sponsoring and stuff. Before all these teams were formed, oh, I'm on this team, Evil Genius and that team and all that shit. Before all that existed, right? It was all grassroots. And at least, even though I don't like the guys, at least EVO being held in the hands of indie people who weren't a major corporation kind of make it felt like Street Fighter still had a holding in the old school. You know what I mean? It still had that remnant of, it's about the game, it's not about the money, it's about the game and the love of the game and everything. This could all change. It could end up being just fucking 100% corporate shit now, you know? And because of this, you may say big changes. You may see certain players now kind of not be involved anymore. You might see a lot of things change. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. There will still, don't get me wrong, there will still be smaller scale fighting game tournaments that are still run by the same people who've been doing it for 20 years in a great way, and they're still going to have that community. That's not going to go away overnight. But what's going to happen here is the biggest national tournament is going to essentially be completely different, and that's huge news. This is a tournament that's been out, 20 years it's been running. The early 2000s is when it started up. It is. It's sad to see the grassroots go away. Because I'm part of that. That's where I grew up. I grew up in arcades. I grew up the grassroots movement. A bunch of guys banding together to get shit going for a competitive scene when we had no funding, no backing, no one wanted to sponsor, nothing. It was all about the love of the game. Is that gone now? Is the love of the game now gone? And it's just going to be about money, 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 sponsorships, corporate shit. I don't know. It's a giant change. And to see EVO getting taken out of the hands of the Cannons is shocking, but not surprising. Let me put it this way, all right? When they became the head of the Street Fighter and fighting game communities in America, a lot of people got very upset because they didn't like them for the corrupt things they'd done in the past. They didn't like the way they ran Shoryuken.com. They felt that it was unfair, and Shoryuken.com at the time was the only place you could really post up tournament listings, tournament results. It was like the one place because they had the backing to run this shit. And a lot of people at that time were like, you know, it ain't going to happen today. It ain't going to happen tomorrow. It might not happen in 20 years, but one day these guys are going to get their comeuppance, right? Well, I guess it's now, although it's sad to know they probably took a giant payday. You know, they probably got paid like $1 million or more for the fucking rights to EVO and all the resources and everything of EVO. They probably took a giant payday to do it. But at very least, we know that now it's going to be run in a different way because the Cannons will not be running it. It'll be someone else who steps in. Will it be fair? I don't know. And by the way, some people are asking me silly questions like, oh, does this mean that, Phil, you're going to get back into the competitive fighting game community? No, it doesn't mean that at all. What it means is, you know, there's a consideration there, but I don't like any of the modern fighting games anyway. Like you guys know, the one I play every week is Super Turbo, and of course I play the other ones that are in the collection, but Super Turbo is really the only game that held my interest competitively over time. Street Fighter 4 did for a time. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 did for a time. But any of the modern games, the only other game that I would consider playing is like Marvel vs. Capcom 1 or 2. Those also I would play competitively because those are the ones I played the most back in arcades in the day. Modern games don't hold my interest. I don't care about sitting here ad nauseum playing these games 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions a week so that I can get every intricacy of every matchup memorized so that I could possibly qualify for an online tournament for a chance to make it into EVO. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I just don't. If there was a new Street Fighter came out and it was really good, like Street Fighter 6. Let's say Street Fighter 6 comes out in 2 years and it's exceptionally good. It plays like an old school game like Super Turbo, and I really enjoy it. And by the way, the online connections are not abysmally bad. Then maybe I would consider it. Then maybe I would say, okay, this is interesting. This is something I want to sink time into and learn. And I would get back into competitive fighting games again. But that is not now. Street Fighter 5 I hate. They have no other major Capcom fighting game going on. I already told you guys the reasons why I'm not going to get into Tekken and I'm not going to get into these other things. So the answer is, no, I'm not interested in doing that. Okay? All right? So, rest in peace to EVO. Even though you might say, well, EVO's not over. Yeah, it is. When you get bought out completely, all right, by a company like that, and they say, that's it. Everyone else involved, maybe they'll be advisors, but they're not running it no more. That's the end of EVO. EVO may continue on in name, but it will not be EVO anymore. It's going to complete Sony's EVO, a completely different entity, a completely different tournament series. Expect ginormous changes to how this thing is going to be run in the future. Okay? What? I think you're too afraid to get bare because it would hurt your ego. What the fuck does that mean? I have no idea what that means. All right, guys. Anyway, let's do shout-outs, shall we? Let's do shout-outs. And then we can get started with gameplay, but let's get to the shout-outs first. So, the first contribution today was from Fantasy Star PG, who did a 50-bit cheer. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get him up on the leaderboard here. Oh, shit. Excuse me, it's disgusting. Okay. He had a 50-bit cheers. The upcoming PlayStation 5 game Returnal will be the second next-gen only game that you played, and the first new game that is not a remake. That's right, because the only other one that I played was Demon's Souls. That's absolutely correct. Hold on. Here we go. They said Returnal will follow suit after Godfall and The Medium as being the first AAA game made by a studio with no prior experience with big-budget games while asking for a $70 price tag. Will your review score be more harder on the next-gen only games if they only have good graphics? Listen, I'm fair when I try to review games, and I weigh and balance everything. It's not just about graphics. It's not just about gameplay. It's about the complete package. Now, if one factor outweighs the others and ends up being exceptionally good, maybe that's enough to make me feel that it's a great game. But, yeah, Returnal, number one, you're right. I've never heard of this studio that they're talking about that's making Returnal. And everyone's all excited, like, oh, it's exclusive. I'm like, yeah, but who are these guys? I never heard of them before. So, it's hard for me to get super hyped. At the same time, the game footage that we've seen looks great. So maybe the game will be exceptionally good, right? Right? So, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I would say I would hold them up to a tough criteria. The other thing is, being that it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and there aren't that many, right? There's only 3. There's Demon's Souls, Godfall, and now Returnal. Everything else has been cross-platform. This game will be held up to a much higher scrutiny, I feel. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to really be say, okay, well, Godfall was terrible, but Demon's Souls was exceptionally good. So how does this game stack up? Being an original offering, it's not a remake, right? So, I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. So, we'll see. But I'm not gonna unfairly treat it. I'm gonna try to balance it with everything else. But yeah, it is gonna be more expensive than other games. That is a factor. You know, there are many factors to think about. So, okay. I have received an anonymous $100 tip, and I actually checked. It is a verified tip, so it's legit. Thank you to whoever this is. Thank you very, very much, whoever this is. I don't know who it is, but it's very generous, and I appreciate that very much, and thank you for the support. All right, and now it's time to ban some people. Good, yes, thank you, King Goken. Take care of that, thank you, because I laid down the law, all right? I laid down the law 2 weeks ago, and I said, no, we're not going to have people in here saying that every contribution is from the same person, because it's not. All right? And already we got 2 idiots who said it, and they're out of here. Fuck them. It's not, by the way, it's not him. It's not that person. This is someone else who contributed the $100 tip. All right? So, fuck you for being a fucking toxic jerk and saying that. All right? Okay, anyway. Oh, there you go. There's another one. Thank you, King Goken. All right. So, let's continue. Well, by the way, now we're going to do a poll for the vest. Let me go. I'll do the poll. I'll do the poll here. Of course, now we have multiple people in the stream chat trying to claim that it was them. No. Bullshit. So, beige, blue, red, camo, and gray. All... No, not gray. Excuse me. Platinum. How could I forget platinum? Jesus Christ. Those are the eligible ones. And we'll have that poll run for 3 minutes. Okay. Angelo Bestia, why are you saying stupid, nasty stuff in the stream chat? You're usually a very nice person, and you're usually very, you know, a good influence on the stream chat. And today you're being very toxic, and I think you're trying to do it on purpose to, like, rile me up. If you haven't noticed, it's not working. I don't know why you're acting like that. Could you, like, stop? Or if you don't want to be here, could you leave? Like, one or the other? Yeah, you don't have to be here if you don't like me all of a sudden out of nowhere. I don't get it, but you're being very nasty today. I don't understand it. Now you got, well, now Mod timed him out. I didn't ask for that. But I don't know why he's being taught, like, he's doing highlighted messages and saying all, like nasty, negative stuff. And it's like, dude, why are you doing this? Normally, he's a very nice guy. So I don't know why he's being nasty like that. It's actually very off-putting. You know? What I would say is he can be untimed out, but I just hope that he behaves. If a moderator can untime him out, that would be nice. Because I didn't ask for that. But I wish that he would just calm down, and if he has an issue with me, talk to me. Rather than being, you know, nasty and toxic here in the stream chat. Because that's against the rules. Okay. Alright, let's continue. Alright, where was I? Oh, Jack Spartacus gifted a... No, resubscribe for 4 years. Wow, Jack Spartacus. Thank you very much for 4 years of support. I appreciate that very much, Jack Spartacus. Thank you. Retro Danny resubscribed for 9 months. It says, greetings, Darkside Phil. Hope you've been good. Here's a Yakuza 7 haiku that I was trying to do, but Twitch wouldn't give me an option to start new sentences. So Yakuza 7 is great fun. I foresee myself playing Yakuza 7 myself. Rest in peace, Masato Arakawa. There you go. Thank you, Retro Danny, for the 9-month resub. Appreciate that. Ladies Man 2166. Well, he tipped me, but my thing froze up. Hold on. Okay. Ladies Man 2166 tipped me $1.30. He's greetings, Phil. Greetings, Phil. Hope you're doing well today. I got a day off classes, so I figured I'd come hang out. Cool. Well, hopefully, see, I'm playing Divinity 2 today. I hope you like it. I don't know if you've seen the streams yet. It's very different from everything else I'm doing. Incredibly slow-paced RPG. Incredibly slow-paced. Like, everything is a planned-out, crazy military tactic in combat. And battles can take 30 minutes to an hour. I'm not even kidding. So some days, the entire stream is 3 battles. Okay? So, we'll see what happens. But hopefully you like it. Golden Colts cheered. And he says, actually, this is the biggest cheer of the day. Well, then it's going to be overtaken immediately anyway. Shocking news from the United Kingdom. 41% of British people believe you can make a sandwich with only 1 slice of bread by placing things on top of it. I find this outrageous. What are your thoughts? It's not a sandwich. It's an open-faced sandwich. It's different. A regular sandwich needs 2 pieces of bread. An open-faced sandwich would have only 1 piece of bread with things on top of it. It's not a regular sandwich. That's incorrect. So 41% of people in the UK think that. 41% of people in the UK are wrong. There we go. Okay. Mr. Hurdy-Gurdy Man did a 100-bit cheer. That's the biggest cheer of the day. Let's get this up on the leaderboard. $100 bits. Oh, shit. There we go. He says, So-Gold Hype, I love the relationship you have with your fans. People like to hate and be cynical, but the truth is, artists throughout history have been depending on patronage from benefactors, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Burnell. That's right. And we all know that I'm in the same exact category as the greats. Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello, Leonardo da Vinci, Phil Burnell, and of course, Van Gogh, Vincent Van Gogh. We're all those are the like if there was a Mount Rushmore of famous artists who rely on benefactors. There you go. Of course, I put myself in the same category as them. Good Lord. All right, so anyway, Banished Legion, thank you for a $4.20 tip. I appreciate that. I reviewed your situation and I did unban you this morning. So FYI, you are welcome back in the chat as long as you behave. You have apologized profusely, and now I will give you a second chance. But please don't make me regret myself. Regret myself? Regret my decision is what I meant to say. Let's see here. Mr. Hurdy-Gurdy Man Cheater said, inclusive boys club, also known as friends. Well, here's the thing, Mr. Hurdy-Gurdy Man. To some extent, you're right. But at some point, you got to put your foot down and say, is it a good idea to make my friend be in charge of this major corporation that I own? You know, a guy who has really bad history, a guy who really isn't good at fighting games, a guy who, you know, did a lot of controversial stuff back in the day, a guy who a lot of people don't like, and they didn't care. They literally put Wizard in charge of every tournament they ran and didn't give 2 shits that the guy was basically unscrupulous, you know? They didn't care. They just said, whatever, he's our bud, so he put in our friends. That's what I mean. It's a boys club. It's like, oh, you know, that mafioso mentality. Just because you're in league with us, you get everything. You get promoted. You get all the opportunities. You know, why? Because he's our buddy. Well, that's stupid. And now 20 years later, I mean, it took over 20 years, but man, did it come back to bite them in a big way, right? That's what happens. Anyway, let's see here. Oh, this is great. DSP can't use Discord, by the way. Cheer. I don't know what that means. He cheered and says, why do you go off on rants about the Cannon Brothers and people like Valle and Gutex if you don't hold grudges? I don't hold grudges. I really don't give 2 fucks. I'm not part of that community. Just because I'm speaking truthfully. Facts. Factual stuff that happened. Doesn't mean I hold grudges. You're like saying, so because I'm speaking facts, right? I'm doing it because I have an agenda. There's no agenda. It's a fact is a fact. A fact may be hurtful to some people, but a fact is still a fact. It doesn't mean, I'm not making shit up. I'm telling you things that actually happened 20 years ago. I was there. I didn't fucking, you know what I mean? Like, what exactly do you think? I don't care. I'm not trying. Oh, Phil really destroyed the cannons today. No, I didn't, and no one cares. They just sold EVO to Sony and made a bunch of money. They're out of the gaming business. They're rich, bitch. They don't care about me talking about a pre-stream. I've talked about them over the years and been honest about it every time. They don't care. I don't have a grudge. Nothing I say is going to hurt them. I'm just speaking facts. People are so dumb. They think, well, because this fact could be considered something inflammatory, that means you have a grudge. No. I'm speaking a truth. A factual thing. Like, what the fuck? How can you say something that's so... How would I put it? A fact is not a rumor. A fact is not hearsay. A fact is not something that's a controversy that you are developing. It's not a half-truth. It's not circumstantial evidence. A fact is a fact. It happened. It's documented. People will back it up. The things that I say are factual things that I'm not the only person who said them. There's been tons of people over the years who talked about these things. So why the hell do you think that I, like, what agenda do I have? I don't have an agenda. This is something that's factual, but everyone sweeps it under the rug because the cannons were always in charge of EVO. But then, yeah, last year, that was the end of it. It finally ended. But that's, you know what I mean? Like, how can you see a fact as having an agenda? You gotta be an idiot. Right? Oh. Here we go. I'm gonna say something and people are gonna be upset. Donald Trump lost the election, the American presidential election. Okay? It's a fact. It's documented. Everything that scientifically counted the votes says that Joe Biden got more votes than Donald Trump. It's factually 100% scientifically proven. You can't dispute it if you have a logical mind. Oh, what do you have this grudge against Trump? What are you talking about? It's the fact, you fucking idiot. No one has a grudge against Trump saying that statement. It's factually true. You can make up as many controversies and conspiracies about it as you want. It doesn't change the fact. You see what I'm saying? And that's the same thing here. You state a fact that's been documented, it's out there, it's public. Oh, but for 20 years people swept it under the rug because the cannons were in charge. So, it's still a fact. I don't have a grudge against them. I'm stating a fucking fact. Trust me, they don't give two shits. They're rich now. They just sold EVO. Oh, let's see here. X Ghost of Hyrule X did a 100-bit cheer. Thank you, X Ghost of Hyrule X, for the cheer. Mr. Hurdy-Gurdy Man. Cheers says, I think you're being far too harsh. The cannons pumped money through the 2000s into something that looked like a bad investment. Fighting games were dead effectively before Street Fighter 4 for the love of the games and the community. Issues of the 90s would be left there. No competition is free from corruption. The cannons deserve their Lamborghinis. You got to work harder if you want one. Well, there you go. And that's your opinion. Certainly, I'll be honest, certainly, it's not that people didn't want to do what the cannons were doing. The people didn't have the money to do it. They were rich. Like I said, one of them was a coder. He wrote this code that he sold, and he made like ridiculous money, and that's the money that they used to finance EVO. So, I mean, good on them that they put money into something that literally probably wasn't paying a profit at first. After a while, it was. I think it was, they said after like 4 or 5 years or something, it was turning a profit. So for the first few years, they knew they were going to have to build it up, and basically it was a labor of love. But then after that, it was going to become something that was profitable. And by the way, make no bones about it, EVO's been profitable for a while now, so they've been turning big money on that tournament. It's definitely not, oh, we're just grassroots doing it for the love of it anymore, okay? But first it was, admittedly. It would have been nice, though, being the top guys if they weren't corrupt. But it is what it is, and it's water under the bridge, 20 years old stuff, right? Like I said, who knows, in the past 10, 15 years, it might have been completely legit. All I can tell you is the last EVO I attended, I got screwed. The last EVO I attended, they purposely rigged the bracket against me. And after that, I was like, I'm so tired with this drama shit, I'm not fucking coming no more. I was just done with it. I'm like, why am I coming to EVO anymore? There's no point in coming to this thing. They're just going to keep rigging it every tournament I come to. So why bother? And I stopped. And I haven't been back since 2007. I'm not going back. But now it's not run by them, at least. Anyway, I mean, yes, fair enough. Hurdy-gurdy man. You can't 100% be anti-Cannon Brothers, because yeah, they were the ones who, during the 2000s, when there was nothing going on with fighting games, they were the ones who financed EVO and kept it going alive. You know, Capcom hadn't put out a fighting game. I think it was like 2001 to 2008. So like 7 years they didn't put out a new fucking fighting game, right? Richie7 resubscribed for 15 months. And he says, I'm a little behind on your Divinity playthrough. How are you doing learning the mechanics? I'm still attacking your own guys by accident. Say with it, it's rewarding to win tough fights. I would say I'm getting better, but I'm not great. I'm still getting better at it. Slowly. But I'm not great at it. I admit I'm still making mistakes. I'm still having issues. And basically, you know, it's a slow learning process. But now my characters are leveling up a lot. They have better abilities. You know, much better armor and stuff. So now at least they're not dying right away. And, you know, I have options. Every character has like a bunch of spells and stuff now that they can use, which is great. And like I said, we're leaving Fort Joy today. We're going to head out and see what else is out there to do in the game outside of the starter area, which is great. So, you know, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. And I'm excited to check out new stuff. But I'm not good at the game. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm good at the game. What, are you crazy? I'm the worst player. I'm probably the worst player of Divinity 2. I'm not sure you could be worse. How could you be worse than me? Maybe if you just sit there slamming your controller on a table, breaking into a million pieces, maybe that person would be worse. Then again, when they do that, maybe they'd actually do some good moves. You know? Okay. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thanks so far for the support. Let's quickly shout out the top cheers of the week, shall we? In 10th place, we got Awesomeness Kaboom. In 9th place, Timbo Slice. In 8th place, B-Boy Cyclone. In 7th place, Mr. Hurdy-Gurdy Man. In 6th place, Ripley Atomic. A tie for 4th between Eternal Napalm and Hughes Yuri. In 3rd place, Isle of KOK. In 2nd place, Mr. Minecraftish 1. And in 1st place, Detractor Arthur. So thank you guys. Actually, Mr. Minecraftish 1 and Detractor Arthur are still tied for top cheer of the week. They have been for like 3 days. So I wonder if anyone will break this tie, because Sunday is the last day before it resets on Monday. I wonder if anyone will break this tie over the weekend, because they've been deadlocked the whole week. Also, thank you to the following people who've gifted subscriptions to the channel this week to support it. Now, just a reminder, the people who gift 1 sub, there's a lot of you, but only a few of you can show up on the top 10 leaderboard. So I can only read who's here, but I appreciate everyone who gifted a sub to the channel this week, okay? So thank you to Kate, Mr. Minecraftish 1, 672, FFEHU, 100 Gex. They all gifted a single sub. Thank you to Jackalese, Honest Fan, Lunaba, and Diocletian, who each gifted 2 subs. And then thank you... Oh, here comes a big burp. Thank you to Only Ice Coffee, who gifted a whopping 23 subscriptions to the channel. Thank you very much, sir, for the support. And that actually yesterday, it put us over the top. Okay? So there you go. Okay. All right. Are we good? Yes, Retro Danny, I saw your Yakuza 7 resub message. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Anything else? Anything else anyone want to talk about before we take a brief break, before we get started with Divinity 2? Oh my god. So I just got a tip, but I don't even know if I want to read this. Hold on. First of all, let me verify if it's a real tip. This is hilarious. Oh my god. Do I enjoy esports? Well, I was involved with competitive fighting games before they were called esports. You know? And yeah, I enjoyed competitive fighting games. But, you know, in the current day, I have no idea if I would enjoy it or not. It's probably a very different experience. So, yes, listen to this. I received a $4.30 tip from Wings of Redemption. The real Wings, by the way. It's definitely 100% confirmed to be the real Wings. Has to be. Cannot be anyone else. And he says the following. Was up, P-Boy, Philly B, was crack-a-lackin', pimp, stay ballin', all right, kid boy time to bounce up on out of here king. 100, 100, 100, 100. Oh my God. Okay then. Yes. Alrighty then, my friends. Thanks for the tip. Wings of Redemption. Sir, you have yourself a blessed day. Thank you for the support. I appreciate. Oh my God. I really appreciate it. Alright. Alright, anything else? Are we good? Best tip comment of the day? I mean, I guess so. Alright. I guess that's it. I don't see anything else. Alright, guys. Let's take a brief break, shall we? Use the restroom quickly. And we'll come back. The continuation of Divinity 2, which should be great. Hopefully, like I said, heading out of the starter area. And go from there. Alright? Alright. I shall see you guys in a few minutes for Divinity 2. Thanks, guys. See you in a bit.